What's going on, everyone? I'm Hunter Bill here from Philly Insider Podcast, and today we're talking about Darick Hall, who had a phenomenal weekend against the Nationals and has just been on a tear, hitting .471 in his last 5 games. He has 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. What a weekend it was for him, and he played well in that Braves series too. So I just want to kind of get into what he's been doing well, what he needs to work on, and what kind of the short-term outlook is for this season and long-term outlook is beyond that. 27 years old, kind of a late bloomer. That's totally fine. 29 games this year, 109 plate appearances. He's hitting .282 now. .612 slugging. My goodness. 17 extra base hits, 15 RBIs, 18 runs scored, .9 WAR, and a 155 OPS. Obviously, those are phenomenal numbers. His 15.6 extra base hit percentage is just unbelievable. Jose Ramirez leads the league with 13.6, obviously larger sample size, but just to kind of give you a reference point there of what he's done in this short time span. And over the last 4 weeks of the MLB season, Hall is 5th with a 16.1 extra base hit percentage. Isolated power, over the past 4 weeks, he is tied for 10th at .333. Average exit below, 92.2 miles an hour. Third on the Phillies to only Bryce and Schwarber, and his 208-foot average distance, 6th among MLB players with 50 batted baseballs or more. He's also 3rd among those players in barrels per plate appearance percentage with 13.8%. He's 5th in slugging among those players and 10th in expected slugging percentage, right behind Schwarber with 546. I believe Schwarber is at 548. He's only walked 5 times in those 109 plate appearances. We'll get into that, but still has a 933 OPS regardless of that, just because of the sheer power he's hitting with. Obviously, he's been a great part of the team, giving that boost while Bryce has been out and some other guys have been out of the lineup in that middle of the lineup. It's been huge to have him. Let's get into some of the cons of his game. He really struggles hitting the curveball and breaking pitches. Pitchers are going to catch on to that. They have to an extent, and they're going to start pounding the curveball a little bit more. 138 batting average against for the curveball and a -4 run value. But honestly, though, everything else, like the slider, he has had some struggles on, but overall, he's still been able to put some of those sliders into the seats, down the right field line, or into the gaps. Fastball, changeup, slider, he's been hitting great off of all those pitches. Plate discipline, if that improves, especially on the curveball, he could really develop into a great player. But that's something he has struggled with for a number of years now, since the minors, too. The 35.5% of swings outside the zone, according to FanGraphs, which is a very high mark. That's not something you want to see. And a 27.5 strikeout percentage, another high mark there. So as far as the roster goes when Bryce comes back, a lot of people have been saying on Twitter that they'll probably send Hall down briefly, and then he'll get called back up in September, which I think makes the most sense, right? And as far as his role when that happens, it's going to be interesting. I mean, look, the power off the bench versus righties is awesome. I think that could be huge. I get a lot of Matt Stairs vibes with him. It'd be great if he sent one into the night versus the Dodgers or another team in the playoffs. But he's really only a DH. The team's already full of those. There's not really a spot for Hall in the field. He really, really struggles against left-handed pitchers, and that was a huge problem for him in the minors. And in the very small sample size in the majors, it's not been good. I believe he has 3 strikeouts and 6 at-bats. What he's been doing has been awesome. And, I hope it continues. I hope that he just continues to be a force in the lineup for us. But look, a lot of improvements are going to be needed to sustain this long-term and stick around in the big league. I think I saw Matt Winkelman a little while ago has his player comp as kind of Tommy Joseph, and it is a concern. Obviously, Tommy Joseph didn't stick around very long in the big leagues. I've seen a lot of talk also about Reese's future with the team. Obviously, next year he's going into that contract year. We'll see if we can get an extension done with Scott Boras or what transpires there. Obviously, Scott Boras is going to try to get the best value for his players, which can be really frustrating at times, and I think I'm putting that nicely. If Hall can't hit lefties, it's really difficult to project him as a starter long term. I know Reese can be frustrating sometimes, but his plate discipline is excellent. Hall chases a little bit too much and just doesn't walk very much, so that could really be a steep drop-off in terms of a full sample size once you see it over the full season. I mean, I love what he did this weekend versus the Nationals, but again, you face a lot of top-tier competition over the course of the season. You're not playing the Nationals pitching staff every single week. I wish him the best. While those issues from the minors haven't changed much over time, new player development, new coaching staff, for the most part, we have some new guys in here, obviously, this year. And I just hope with the right coaches, he can demonstrate some level of improvement in the plate discipline area. Love what Darick Hall's doing. I think for the short term, he could really provide a pop off the bench as this stretch run goes on. Obviously, I think Reese is still the guy long term. He's a much better player. It's proven over time. Hall has time to make those improvements too. So it all depends on, if he can work on hitting the breaking pitches a little better and work on hitting the curveball specifically out of those pitches. That'll be a help. If he develops some plate discipline, can draw some walks here and there, forces pitchers to throw to other guys. But with how much he strikes out and chases pitches and doesn't work walks, it's easier for pitchers to feel a little more comfortable attacking him. Again, good that he's taking advantage of the competition right now. I am worried about it long term, but I want to give him props. I don't want to take away from what he's done recently just by, my long-term projections. I love what he's done, and I'm looking forward to seeing him hopefully continue this as the rest of the season goes on, and proving kind of some of the narratives wrong about what kind of player he can be long-term. So I'm excited for it. Darick Hall, keep doing what you're doing, man. We love it. Love you in Philly right now. And yeah, thank you all for watching. God bless. We will see y'all later. Peace out.